Hello friends, welcome you all to my YouTube channel. So today in this video we will learn how to handle the CSV file in Java, right? And we will learn how to read it and we will learn how to write it. So what is the meaning of CSV? CSV means the comma separated values. I have one notepad file over here, and to this notepad file I have some data, right? Here you can see all the values are separated with the comma, and there it looks like a pattern, like there is the column name as name, and some values coming over there as Ravi and Johnny, and then further you can see that this is employee, and you can see this is like manager, and head is coming under this employee. Then under number some numbers are coming, right? So this looks like a pattern as if these are the three columns and there are three rows over there. So now if I will save this file, this notepad file as, let's say, save as, and if I want to save it as abc.csv, and let's say all files, and if I save it here, you can see that on my desktop a file must get generated. This abc file has been generated. If I'll open this, you can see that this file is opening in the Excel sheet, and all the all the values which were separated with the comma has come under the columns and row automatically. So that's the CSV file basically. Let me close this file now, and if we go to our Eclipse ID back, so here let's say how we can write this kind of file first, right? So what we need, we can see here that in this project under miscellaneous I have created a folder as data under with the same level as this source folder. If you want to see how to create it, let me delete it first from here. Okay, delete it here, and what can we do? I'll go here and I can go new after right clicking on the project as the miscellaneous project, and then we can go to folder. If I create a folder, I simply can say data and then finish. So you can see this data folder has been generated under the same level with the source. Now what we have to do, if I will do right click here, then new, and then I'll go to the file. Here let's say I want a file as xyz.csv, right? So if I finish it here, a file has been generated with no values, right? So let me close it. So a file coming under the data folder, right? So now what we have to do for writing a file, what we need the buffered writer, right? And we can say that let's say I'm giving an instance for this buffer reader as a BW, and then new, and then again the buffered reader writer, and then this. So we have created an instance for this buffer reader class, right? So now if I hover over here, you can see it is providing me the option to import it. Let's import it. And again, if I hover over here, what it is asking me for some argument. What argument it is asking? It is asking me to put some, like here, the file writer. If I click on this, it is right now, because we don't have any file writer. So what we need to do is, before this buffer writer, we have to create a file writer. Let's say file, and now file writer, FW, and then further new, and then again file writer, right? So like that. If I hover over in this file writer, you can see it is asking me to import it. Let's import it, and now this FW, this file writer, we can put here. So once we put it here, this piece of code in line number 14 is all good. Right now I hover over here on this new file writer, it is asking me further something to put there. So if I click click over there, so it is asking me for some values to be put in there. Which kind of value it want me to put there? It want me to put there the file. Where is the file? So for file, let's say I have an instance F, right? So but I put the F over there, but what I need to do, I need to create an instance. I need to call that class file, and let's say the instance is F for that, and then what can I do? New, and further is file, and then this. So if I hover over on the file, it will ask me to import. Let's import it. If I hover over here, it is asking me the argument as string. What is that argument over here? It is the path of the file. I can put simply like that. So right, but for the path, what we need to do, let's say instead of putting this string over there, I'm giving a variable name again here, and that is the path. So for that path, what we need to do, we will create a string as path and we can give the value to this path over here. So what's that path is? That path is the actual path of this file. So if I will do right click on that, and we can go to the properties, and after going to the properties, what can we see? We can take the path of this file from here and we can just simply copy, and then we can put this path here. So that much, these are the important thing that what we need to do, and I was doing it from bottom to top so that step by step we can understand that okay, what we need first, we need the buffer writer to write a file, like for example CSV file. And for buffer writer, what we need to put an instance of the file writer in the buffer writer over here, and then in the constructor of the file writer here, the constructor of the file writer we call here. And now what we need to put in the argument section, this file we have to put, right, the instance for the file. And for in the constructor of this file, the class file, what we need to do, we need to put the path of that file. So that's how we can understand the logic behind that, why we are calling the classes. Now what is there in line number 15, we can see this new file, right? So what we have to do, if I hover over here, it is asking me to throw the exception over there. So I can click on this. For better understanding of this exception for throws, you can see another video where I have explained how to handle the exceptions in Java. So it will be for your better understanding, right? So let me take this IO exception, right? So now everything is good. What we have to do, because we want to write the file, so what we will be doing, we will be doing bw then dot, and what we want, as we want write the file, so we'll call the write method. And here you can take this method over here and hit enter. And now what we want, let's say I want to put test over there, okay, just test1, right? Or let's say I want to put the name, right, because we were taking the example for the name. And then further I want further what I want, let's say because we want to take the data in the new line, right? Let me put all this like that, because the string value we need to put in the double quotes. So let me do one more thing. Let me do bw dot write again. I want to use the same method one more time over here to show you something really interesting. And here let's say instead of name I am putting employee, right? So now for buffer writer, what we need to close it, bw dot close. We have always need to, whenever we are writing a file, we always need to use the close method with the buffer writer. So now what I will be doing, I will save it and I will run it one time. And once I run it, I have to refresh my project level like that. If I do right click on this page, I can go to refresh, and once I refresh and if I open this file, you can see the data has been entered, but the data whatever has been entered all came in the only in one column. They are not coming in one column and with one cell only, I can say. Not this name and employee has not been separated, right? So how to separate it? What we have to do, instead of putting in another bw.write, what we have to do, we can take this employee from here and we can put a comma here and we can give it like that. Okay, and further let me delete this portion, and if I will save it and if I will run it again, then further exception thread. Okay, now wait a second, we will see this and let's refresh it. Once I will refresh it, let me close this. Let me close it because don't save. Let me close it, and what can we do? We will run it again one more time, and now there is no exception, right? Because the file was open, so that's why it was showing the exception. Now we will refresh it here. We will refresh it here, and once I will open this file here, so it is open and both the values came under the different columns, right? So now what next? Let me close it. Once now, because we wrote in two different columns, let's say I want to write something in different row, so I will be calling the write method again, right? And let's say string, and let's say for the name we have the value as Ravi, and also the second as Johnny, right? As Johnny, and I am giving this in under this double quote, right? So if I will run this method now, what will happen? Let's see what will happen, and then I will explain you. So I ran this method, and now we will refresh it. After refreshing, let's open it file, open this file. So what happened over here is that all the values, you can see that Ravi came under the same column, right? The value came under the same column. It didn't start with the another row. It came under the same column B and within the same row. But what we want the next row to come over there. So for that, what we need to do here, instead of putting them all together like this, what we need to do is we will be doing buffer writer dot new line. We can use this method, and once we'll be using this method, first thing what we have to do is we will close it, and let's say save or don't save, doesn't matter. Okay, okay, it will save there, so don't save it, don't save it. And now what we have to do, let's refresh it one time and then save it and then run the program. We ran the program, now refresh it one more time, and once we refresh and open the file, you can see all the values came separately. So that's how, if you want to put the data in another row, that's how you can use this bw dot new line. So let's say another one more time, I want to put some values here, and let's say with the employee, what I want, what was in my notepad, let me check it. This number, right? Number was there. Let me say number was there, and here let's say the third name, let's say I want to put Jenny over there, and now with the okay, it will come with the same row, so not here. Let me say I want to put this Johnny here, right? Because this will come under the name, let's say Johnny, right? And here for the employee, what I want this to come as manager, and this one what I want to come as, let's say 456 something, some random number we can say, and here I want as head, and then I want it as 678, and now bw dot close, and our Excel sheet is open, so we can close this. Once we close it, we can save our code and execute it. Once we execute that, after that what we need to do, we will refresh it here, and then we will open it, and you can see all the values have been inputted in this Excel sheet. So I hope it is very helpful. Now what we will do, we will read the file. This was the file that we wrote over there. Now how to read the file? So for reading the file, what we need to do, let's say I want another class here. Let's say another class is CSV file reading, CSV file reading, and then finish. Let's say main method I want, finish. So with the file reading, what is the difference? It will be almost everything same, other than, let me take all this file from here, controls, let me take everything from here, control C, and here put it here, put it all here, right? So reading, right? So what happened, instead of file writer, the first thing what we need is the reader. We need the reader, right? Here also, instead of the file writer, what we need the file reader. And here for the buffer writer, what we need the reader. Here for buffer writer, what we need is the buffer reader. And here for the instance, we can say fr, and here we can say fr, and here we can say br for the buffer reader, right? And for these methods, let's say we do not need all these methods. So what is the difference? What the difference came here? The instead of everything is same, other than that we are not taking the object for the buffer writer, we are taking for the buffer reader, and here we are taking for the file reader. Other than that, everything is similar. So let's remove these imports because these were for the file writer. And now if I hover over here, it will import file. If I hover over here, it will import file reader. If I hover over here, it will import buffer reader. And now for the exception handling, we can just throw the file not found exception, right? So what next over here is that because we want to read the file, right? So what we will be doing, br dot read, right? We can use the read method. Let's say the first method is giving us the int, right? So instead of int, what we need the string, right? So we can take this read line method over here, and once it is there, let's say what we need to do, we need to put it in a CISO. Control X from here, and then because we want the output to be there in the console, so let's put it here. Once we put here, once a second, it is also asking me to throw the declaration. We can do that, so it's all good. Now if I will run the program, it should read me. Yeah, it has it. Now what happened, that from this xyz.csv file, what it has given me, it has given me the first row, all the values from the first row. So if I want to get the value from the second and the third row, what can I do? I can put it like that, and I can just run it in the same way. So that's how we are getting the values over there. One second, guys. So that's how we got the values. But if the file is very long, let's say, because this example what I have given over here, it was a very small example, right? But what I want to give, like, take a very, I want to read a very long CSV file. So we will not be able to put all the to get all the values. We will not be able to do all this kind of coding. It is not appropriate way to do that. Then what we can use a loop. Let's say I want to use a for loop over here for this. So let me delete this part. And for the for loop, what can we do? For, and then in the for, let's say I have an int I, and the value I want to start at 0, and then int, and then here is the semicolon, and then I is less than let's say less than I'm giving a random number as 5, less than or equal to 5, we can say. And then what I want I to be plus plus incremented, right? Now if we want, let's say if I know how many times it's the file is coming here, only 3 rows were there, so I can put 3 also there, right, to get all the values, so that we will not be getting any index out of bound error. So I will take Control X from here, and I can put it here like that. Fine. So a read line is like that. Now what can we do is, let me run this program. If I will save it and if I will run this program, what can we do? Okay, so you can see here we got all the values by using the for loop, right? But the last value came as null. Why null? Because why null? Because we have the indexing as 0, 1, 2. For the 3 lines, the indexing will be as 0, 1, 2, not 3. And here we said equal to 3. So if I will delete this part, now if I will run this again, and the third row, what was the value in the third row? If I will open this xyz.csv, you can see that this row number 4 is all null. There is no value. There is no value in this file. And what we need to do is, let me close it. And here if I put less than 3, and if I will run this program now, it will not be giving me as null, right? And if I put here as let's say I want to put here 6, so if I will run the program again, what will happen? It will give me null, 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 and the data will come for the 6 lines from the index number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, like that. So I hope the concept of CSV file reading and CSV file writing is clear to you all, and thank you very much for watching the video. Please do like, share and subscribe.